Take 3 is usually the charm, right? That's how my luck has been going. Welcome back to Snark and Spark. My name is Emily. This is my channel, and I've got my son with me today. Caden's going to be helping us out. Like I said. But, yeah, so today I want to talk about all of the different monthly challenges going on in the different groups I'm in, and just go from there. So, dun, 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 dun. First things first, we're going to start with Magical Stitches, and I'm going to talk about the reading challenge first. So the book of the month, because I was saying it wrong multiple times in my other video, the book of the month is The Lost Hero, over here, by Rick Riordan. It is still some of his like Olympian Gods tie-in, but it's not necessarily Percy Jackson focused anymore. But we've got Book 1, The Lost Hero. So, I don't know where I was at when I kept saying the wrong name. That is our focus book. That is the book that we're, like, all of our themes are going to be based off of. Yeah. Then we have been given, we have that master list of genres that we're allowed to choose from. We're trying to get 100 books a year. That's the goal. I need to update mine. I'm a little behind. And she picked 4 genres for us to choose from as well. And the 4 genres are
mystery, new to me authors, 2021 publication date, and audiobooks.
Thank you. So, also want to pick as many books from each of those categories as you can read in the month. You can read, there is no limit. You can read as many books as you want. You can try and get 1 book per category. You can try and read 4 books in 1 category, 2 books, 3. Like it's all very up to you, because we know that people have different preferences and stuff like that. So, and for me, I'm kind of jumping ahead, but WIPGO, the numbers that got drawn this month are 7 and 8, and for me, that is physical books only, so I will not be doing any audiobooks this month, which makes me kind of sad, because if you know me, I like to listen to audiobooks while I'm at work. I like to listen to them in the car. Yes, so I'm kind of sad that I can't do audiobooks, and I'm not quite sure. I gotta find something else to entertain me at work, which has been a little bit of a challenge. Anyways, but the other for me for WIPGO was a grab and go, and I explained this at the beginning of the year, but I'll explain it again. So when I created my bingo board for WIPGO, I put in several boxes. I picked a bunch of random categories. I picked different challenges. Like I picked, to read some nonfiction. I need to read my least favorite genre, which currently is romance. I picked, that I wanted to try and get so many hours of reading done in a month, but I also gave myself numbers as well, like try to read 4 books in a month, 6 books in a month. And then when I kind of ran out of those, I also put in a couple boxes that were just grab and go. And what I meant by a grab and go is I work at the library. This is the first month that it got drawn, so I was like, perfect. I used a random number generator to, 1, narrow down what genre I was going through. So I had fiction, graphic novel, horror, mystery, romance, sci-fi, and urban fiction. I also used a random number generator to decide if I was going to be, I should probably start from the beginning. So I listed all the different types of books that I had available to me at my work, whether it was children's books, YA books, large print books, nonfiction books, new books, or fiction books. Random number generator picked fiction, which is upstairs for where I work, and then within that is those categories of fiction, graphic novel, horror, mystery, romance, sci-fi, blah, 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 urban fiction. I used a random number generator. It sent me to the mystery section. I then counted how many rows of mystery books that we had, used a random number generator to get me to a random row, and then within that aisle, we have 3 rows of books within that aisle, and so then I used another random number generator to pick which number which row I should be in, and then I really just walked back and forth along the aisle and ran my hand along the spine until I stopped, and then I pulled it out, looked at it. The way it's supposed to work is that I grab it and go. Like, I don't even, there is no repicking, there is no second choice. You grab it and go. I gave myself some leeway with this since I was in the mystery section, and a lot of mystery writers are series, or like books are series. So if you don't start with number 1, it's not the end of the world, but sometimes it won't make sense, or you don't have the background information. And if I touched a book like that wasn't the first in a series, I put it back and did it again. I did give myself that allowance. If it was the first in a series, I would have read it. But all the ones I grabbed were like book number 2. I finally grabbed one called Dr. Knox. It's like bright yellow. I doubt that I ever really would have like picked it before, but I was like, all right, here it is. And I grabbed it and I walked away with it and I checked it out. And then I read the synopsis, and I honestly can't remember because I don't even think I fully read it. I think I just glanced at it to double check that it was a mystery. And that works because that I get to use in Back to Magical Stitches in the Magical Stitches reading prompt where it's a mystery. So I'll be able to like check off my grab and go. Theoretically, with the way grab and go works, every single book that I read this month should be a grab and go, is how I originally intended it, but that's just not going to be feasible since I have a lot of books currently on my TBR so that I'm trying to work through. I have lots of books right now, and that's okay. I have lots of books I want to read. I'm still working my way through Stephen King's bibliography. I've got a different like horror book that's like 700 pages long that I've been trying to read for like a month now, but it's really good. And I have some nonfiction books I'm trying to read. I've got some books that we can all have during family reading time, which is what he's doing right now. But anyway, new to me authors, so categories. Mystery, my mystery is taken care of. A new to me author is what it sounds like. It's any author that you've never read before, you've never heard of. That's pretty self-explanatory. A 2021 publication date is any book that was obviously published this year. It cannot have a different publication date. It has to be a 2021 book. Whether it was January, whether that was August 1st, 2021, it just has to have a publication of being released in 2021. And then audiobooks are audiobooks, but I can't do audiobooks this month, which is sad. Moving on. Now let's talk about the Magical Stitches stitching challenge. The stitching battle. So each month we are tasked with monsters that we are fighting, and if you defeat them, we earn different things for our team, which is great. We get weapons, so if you defeat a certain monster, you get weapons of a different caliber, and then we throw them at the other teams. If you do a whole set, we get to be healed. It's great. So, the beginning monster.
Storm Spirit.
The intermediate monster.
Gorgons.
And the advanced monster.
You want to read that? I can't read that.
I'm going to say
Gigans?
Gaganes.
Gaganes.
It looks like Gegenes, which is not right, but like Gaganes, Gegenes. But, so they're different stitch counts. Beginner is 500, intermediate is 1,000, difficult or advanced is 1,500. So work on those as you can. Moving to the next group. I'm going to talk, I haven't started any yet. Next is the cross-stitching daily 30. So, of course, we always have Zombie Run, which, Zombie Run is you pick 4 pieces. You're either Team Human or Team Zombie. I am Team Zombie, so after every 200 stitches, I have to stop and post a picture, and that is a mile run. You're trying to get a goal of 12 miles for the month of August. You have to touch on all of them at least once for it to count. But yeah, and so my 4 pieces, because I have had quite a few finishes, I have my Christmas truck ornaments, Mary. I'm using Letters from Hogwarts. I'm finally pulling it back out because it needs to get worked on, and I have not worked on it in a while. It needs to get worked on. I pulled out my periodic table like bookmark thing that's on paper that I mentioned way back about laminating when I'm done, my periodic table library, and then I pulled out, it's called Read Now, and it looks like an old-timey advert for books. So those are my 4 pieces that I'm using. Yep. There is also a monthly themed challenge all about the Olympics, because as hopefully you guys know, the Olympics were going on, and it's taking place in Tokyo this year, which is exciting. So we're trying to do, trying to get stitching gold and learn about the Olympics. Each prompt was 300 stitches or 3 hours. You have to make sure you explain. So task number 1, there are 44 track and field events at the Olympics, with the longest track event being the marathon. Stitch on your widest, so your left to right, your widest width, which that didn't hurt. I barely touched them, which for me would be Harry Potter. Number 2, you gonna read it?
The field events include the lawn high and triple jumps, hammer, shot, putt, discus, and javelin. Stitch on a whip that has something that can be used in one of the field events.
Like a long pole jump, gosh, pole vaulting, track and field, banners, shoes, lots of stuff for track and field. Canoeing has been featured in the Olympics since 1924. Stitch on something with water in the design. That could be a lot of things. Number 4.
Cycling has featured in every Summer Olympics and in the velodrome. Cyclists can reach speeds of 50 miles an hour. Stitch on a whip that has something that goes fast.
Trains, planes, and automobile. Yes. There are several team sports in the summer games: hockey, basketball, volleyball, and rugby events, just to name a few. Stitch on a whip with 2 or more people or animals in it. Again, Harry Potter. I've got the Quidditch team that I still have to work on. 6. Are you done? Are you going to read it? Okay. There are 3 overall events that make up the gymnastics program that includes trampolining and artistic gymnastics, all with separate medal events in them. Rhythmic gymnastics is the other event, often remembered for the apparatus that the gymnasts use, such as the ribbon. Stitch on a whip with a border. Letters from Hogwarts. 7. Weightlifting. For over 100 years was a male-only weightlifting for over 100 years was a male-only discipline, with women not contesting the sport until the Sydney Games of 2000. Stitch on your largest whip. Harry Potter. 8. Swimming is another sport to appear at every game since 1896 and is a stronghold for the USA, winning over 500 medals in the pool. Stitch on a whip with something that can float. A floaty, boats, apples. Most produce can float because it's not as dense. 9. London 2012 saw the beach volleyball event staged on Horse Guards Parade, a venue more used to seeing the Queen, as it is one of the entrances to Buckingham Palace. I did not know that. And where Trooping the Colour, a military parade, is held for the Queen's birthday. Stitch on a whip that you can link to royalty or a parade.
Harry Potter.
Something with a crown. Something with like horses. Harry Potter is not royal. Number 10. The Olympic flag represents the 5 continents of Europe, Africa, Asia, America, and Oceania, with 6 colors of the flag: white for the background and blue, yellow, black, green, and red for the rings, representing at least one of the colors on the flags of every competing nation. For Tokyo 2020, 206 nations entered at least one competitor. Stitch on a whip using floss that are the colors of your nation's flag. She said, for example, For Great Britain, I could use any combination of red, white, and blue to reach the stitch count. You don't have to stitch with every color in your flag. Some flags have more colors than others, some don't. I live in the US, so our colors are also red, white, and blue, so I would just need to stitch with red, white, or blue. Ta-da! 11. Bonus. Time for the medal ceremony. Stitch on a whip of your choice in gold, silver, or bronze metallic floss. 100 stitches equals 5 tokens.
I have gold floss, right?
I don't know if you do. Metallic. If you complete at least 5 prompts, excluding number 11 bonus prompt, you will receive a bonus of 5 tokens and a 200 stitch discount on our September monthly event to use any way you'd like unless otherwise stated.
Can I do C?
It's not metallic, but yes, you have gold.
No, wait, it has to be
If you complete all prompts number 1 through number 10, you will receive 4 free passes to use once per week in each of our weekly events with a start date in September. You will receive the token amount for the highest stitch option without having to do the stitches for that prompt. So basically, the more you do, the more you earn, and the less you have to do in the future. They cannot be double dipped though, so this is in Daily 30, the zombie run and the monthly event. You cannot use the stitches for your zombie run on your stitches that you're using for the monthly. They are completely separate. So remember that. As someone with a very limited amount of whips, I have to be conscious of that. I only have 4 currently in my rotation, and I am trying really hard not to start anything else until I finish. 4 is a good number for me, so I'm trying to just keep 4 in the mix. Yep. Sorry, my shirt is like falling everywhere. That was that. And last but not least, we have Semi Sane, which there's always so much going on in Semi Sane. Absolutely love it. Semi Sane, Semi Sane. So we've got the August Focus Challenge. You pick a whip and you obviously work on it the entire month, and you post a picture every 1,000. Whip Days, they're giving us the different funny holidays, and we have to stitch on things based off of the holidays. So for this one, we have August 1st was Girlfriend's Day, work on a whip with at least 2 girls. August 7th was Purple Heart Day, work on a whip with hearts or stitch with purple. August 17th is Black Cat Appreciation Day, work on a whip with any kind of cat. And August 21st is World Honeybee Day, work on a whip with bees in it. So you can choose to do any or all. Gosh, that's a beautiful, sorry, I just saw someone's whip and it's one that I want. We also have the scavenger hunt that is happening that I am not participating in. Semi Sane Survivor is also happening. I am not doing Survivor because it's a competition and there's like teams, and I am not good about keeping up with things on a daily basis. But that's okay. And there are no like passes or extensions of deadlines on this game, so I was like, sorry, can't do this one. But I think it's really cool. Yeah, there's just, oh, you only have 24 hours to do things. Yeah, I'm familiar. I am. But the last one that I am doing is Uno, or Uno, based off of the card game Uno. And so what this is you pick 4 whips. Again, I only have 4, so it's the same 4 that I'm using for Zombie Run. You pick 4, you number them 1 through 4, and then every day a wheel is spun, and so we know going into it what we have to do today. If a number 1 through 4 is spun, you do 100 stitches on that whip. So 1 is spun, I put 100 stitches in my holiday truck ornament. So on and so forth, 100 stitches. But if there are directional cards drawn, you follow the directions and do 200. So the different ones that we could have would be reverse, which you would go backwards 1 and do 200 on that one. So again, number 1 is rolled, I do 100, they roll a reverse, I go back to number 4 and I do 200 stitches on number 4. Skip, same thing, so I'm on number 4, I would skip my number 1 and go to number 2 and do 200 stitches on my number 2. Draw 2, you pick any 2 whips that you want and put 100 stitches in both of them. And then there's also a wild card. You can pick whichever one you want and do 200 stitches on a wild card. Now, if an Uno gets drawn, we have 24 hours to put 100 stitches in all 4 of our projects. Luckily, no Unos have been called yet, which is great because, again, it's me. I'm multiple days behind. I'm on day... I got my planner in front of me. I just finished day 4 this morning, and today is the 8th. I am 4 days behind. So I'm going to be working to really play catch up today after I film this. And yeah, that's about it. But that's counting. You don't have to count. There is a non-counting version. You still need 4 whips to play. You just you're just stitching on the one that's drawn. So one gets drawn, you just stitch on it. Don't worry about how much you did, but you make progress on it, and so on and so forth. You just have to make sure that they get touched and it is obvious that you touched them and that progress was made. There's also a monogamous version, so if you are a monogamous stitcher, which you only stitch on one thing at a time, which is perfectly fine. It's the same thing, it's just the stitch counts are different. So 1 is 100 stitches, 2 is 150, 3 is 200, 4 is 250, and then if it's an action card, it's still 200, so it's fine. But for them, if an Uno is called, you have to do all 700 stitches, but you get 42 hours to do it instead of 24. So you get 2 days, which is nice. Blum, bum, bum. Basically, what happens though, if an Uno gets called, like for me, because I'm 4 days behind, I would basically stop whatever I'm doing, take a photo there, do my Uno, and then go back to the prompt and be like, this is where we're now picking up again from Uno. Like, stopping here, do my Uno, 100 stitches, and then going back. So it works out. I think that's pretty much it. Do you have anything you want to show that you made?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have this I got from Joann's. Probably can't see it very well. It's a leopard. It's probably because of light. You can't see it. There we go. It's got the feet, the head, little ears, and then I got its butt.
Thank you. Yes, he picked up some like little make your own creatures and stuff, and so he has made that. And he's really happy about that. It's a little keychain that we're going to put on his backpack before school starts, which is going to be happening sooner than I realized. But I'm going to leave it there. We're going to wrap it up. And thank you for joining us. I hope to start putting out a lot more videos this month and going forward, and branching out a little bit, moving past just cross stitch, but also doing some planner videos and some more stitch with me's, maybe some more time lapses. I really enjoyed my time lapses. Some haul, depending on what I get, and yeah, we'll figure it out. We're growing. That's what we do, right? So in the meantime, I will see you guys, but be happy stitching, happy reading, happy listening, happy watching, happy doing whatever it is that makes you happy doing. I will talk to you soon. Be easy with your heart.
Bye-bye.